It's not too often that we get the opportunity to come out here for a mission hunt in the Hunter Classic, but with the Lunar New Year event running right now, that is exactly what we're here to do. And the event is essentially a mission with 12 different species from 12 different maps, and if we can complete that, we'll get a reward of a trophy, a tent, and 3,000 GMs. So we spent the last Classic stream going and trying to do that mission, and we got about half of it done. So we're out here today to complete that and try to get those rewards. And of course, we're out here on Dall right now, and this part of the mission took up basically the last 3/4 of the last stream, and we were unable to complete it. All we need to do is harvest a Eurasian Lynx, and over the course of more than an hour and a half, we were unable to do that. So hopefully today, we can have a little more luck. I kind of feel like my attempt on the stream was really not that good. We've been here for like 8 minutes, and we have a Lynx coming in. It was as simple as that. Now, I don't think it's a big one. In fact, I believe it's a female, assuming it's the one that called in is. So I entered a competition for them just in case I could get anywhere with that today, and that is not going to do it. But I mean, an hour and a half on stream, no Lynx, 8 minutes in this video, and we're ready to move on. And it's really just the luck of the spawn. In the stream, we fast traveled this tent and did the exact same thing with no luck. This time, first animal that comes in, absolutely no problem whatsoever. And of course, the 223 harvest has to come up first. And the placement in that competition, I cannot imagine that's going to stay top 3. And waiting for our mission objective completion, finally we know that we are good there. Now, as I said in the intro, map switches are just going to be a part of this. The mission just requires one species off of all these different maps. And the one nice thing about getting about half of it done during the stream is that we're able to maybe do a little bit of hunting. Let's say here on Bayou, as we're looking for a feral hog, a whitetail buck, or a grunt, we'd still be able to go and try to get that and not have too much left to do. Well, I don't think I could have called that much better. We did, in fact, get a buck grunt on our way over here, and it's not a particularly special buck. Had a spotted there, but the snake bite will bring him down, and actually, a feral hog had just called across the water as well, so I can actually use the proper collar here. Hopefully we can get him coming our way, and we can take him with the 4570, but as for our little whitetail, which again, I'm glad we have the afforded time to go after stuff like this, just a little 103, then that'll be our feral hog. So the 4570 is one of the most powerful guns in the entire game, so if we can just kind of get a shoulder shot there, I think that's going to bring him down pretty quickly. It did end up being a little further back than I wanted. One more shot will confirm he is going down. And that will essentially send us off to Val-des-Bois for Red Deer, which of the 12 different missions and maps, that may be the easiest one. Almost always if you spawn at the South Lodge on Val-des-Bois, there are Red Deer pretty early on, so looking forward to hopping over there and getting that done. And in the meantime, we can take a look at our feral pig, which was not exactly special. Yeah, and Test and Hip Bone was not the best shot. 673 and that double lung shot on the run did a lot to help us out there. And right on cue and right where expected, we do have a red stag coming in, and we're going to take this one with the 30-06 classic rifle. Going to try to not hit him in the head. That'll do just fine. This is probably my least used rifle in the game. It was fun to kind of break it out for a quick little hunt like this. And of course, once again, not a special stag by any means, but it is going to check off that objective and send us to Bushranger's Run for an axis deer. I would say the only thing predictable about this particular axis deer encounter is the fact that it's not all that big. I tend to struggle pretty mightily in actually finding axis deer, so to find this one basically right outside the lodge, I consider a pretty good stroke of luck. Now, a 270 hit hopefully to a single lung will be enough to bring him down. Could have got him closer, but I figured especially with him kind of showing up that quickly, it would be worthwhile to take the shot and continue on to the next map. But yeah, I was looking at competitions much like I did with the Lynx, hoping that maybe there'd be one and we could get lucky, and the competition was for a doe, and to be honest, that might be the more likely thing I could win with these guys. I just never find very big ones. It has been really interesting thus far, though, with these missions, and I guess that's not too surprising because quite often, because we know the target species, we just kind of go to a spot where we're likely to find one, and it's rare that the first animal in any hunt is an absolute monster. But all of the mission animals that we've shot have been rather low scoring, but during the stream on Dall, despite the fact that we were unable to get a Lynx, we did get what I think might be my PB brown bear. It was literally just resting out in front of us, and I had the crossbow, took a long shot. I think that was a stream where we were running with no sights because of a channel point redemption, so basically we couldn't use scopes for the rest of it. And yeah, it ended up being an absolute monster that is now in the trophy lodge, and we'll probably take a look at that by the time we are done here. But anyway, another one off the list. I hope you guys are enjoying the constant switching of weapons and clothing, by the way. This one is kind of a requirement. We're out here on White Rhine Ridge, and of course you have to wear the heavy camo to actually stay warm on this map, but we've got the camo 300 as well, the winter camo, just to blend in. Now we're out here after Dall sheep, which again should be fairly simple. I would like to think if we just kind of go through this pass, we should be able to spot one on either side, or better yet, kind of par for the course, a bunch of female Dall sheep, but it does not matter. Male or female, all we have to do is get a Dall sheep. I mean, we're not like 200 meters from the lodge and they're all just chilling out here. There are a bunch. I don't see any curls though, so it may be one huge herd of females, or maybe even two. I don't know what the difference is. There are albino Dall sheep, but I don't think any of these are that, so none of them even have like especially large horns. We'll just kind of take a broadside one, or one that'll offer a decent shot. I guess this one will do. You know, quite honestly, I usually mess up the shot on Dall sheep, kind of like what happened with the axis deer, so at least in that case it dropped. But it would end up going this way. The first 5 missions that we completed on the stream last week, we basically did all in about 10 minutes, and I would say, if anything, we're actually completing them at a faster pace right now. It just worked out really well. The animals are basically right where we expect them to be, if not even encountering them before that. And yeah, of course, the Lynx derailed that during the stream, and right now we're just going right through it. 2 left, and we're off to hunt Bighorn on Timbergold. And of the remaining 2 species, I would definitely say this one has the most potential to take some time, but I wouldn't put it even in the same stratosphere of the Lynx. The one that we actually found during that stream just never would call, and we continued to spook it. In the case of Bighorn, we can spook them. I mean, we're on this area where we can just see forever, so even if they do spook, we might be able to get a shot. I don't expect it to take too long, but it just sort of depends on where they're at and our ability to spot them. I was hopeful. Puma are obviously not the species that we are here for, and it is just a female, but it's not a common occurrence to get an opportunity to take one out, so it's actually just kind of sleeping there. Just a moment ago, it made a call that's not actually identifiable, so they'll make noises that you can't actually ID with your hunter mate, and it just made one, so I was able to kind of pinpoint roughly where to look. That's really weird. It must have bedded, stood up and made that sound, and then bedded again. Otherwise, there was no way I would have seen it. I mean, just sleeping down here, not even moving. Obviously, it's not going to be anything special. Heart shots kind of special, and of course, most female puma do score in the 12 range, so that's always nice. And now, especially considering the fact that we got one of the things that I was hoping to run into on this little hunt, we can get on to fully focusing on Bighorn. And imagine that, for the first time, one of our mission animals actually does not look half bad. 120 to 200, that said. I don't think that's the max score estimate, but Bighorn don't really get above, like, 192, I think. Nice! This 7x64, I don't use it as often as I probably should. It is usually my weapon of choice for hunts like this. Long range, and it's got some good power, plus the ability to have that Eagle MK1 scope on it with the 22 power zoom. But man, hard shot the Puma, and then I didn't pay attention to the range on that Bighorn. It looks like it would have been in the area of 260 or 270. It's just very intuitive as far as the bullet drop. Just kind of threw the crosshairs in the area where it felt like it should hit, and the Bighorn didn't take a step. I will say the weight is always important for me in having a good gauge on how big I think it is, and I didn't pay attention to the weight estimates, so let's see here. It is 101 kg. Yeah, I figured it was going to be in the 160s based off that, but even still, that is leaps and bounds better than any of the other mission animals we've had thus far. And that leaves us with one to go over on Pickabeen Bay. Maybe not my best decision to pair the skunk cat with the orange shirt, but I actually don't own the Pickabeen Bay camo set. I have like the pants and the boots, but there was a time where I always wore the black gloves and the, I think, elite jacket for the anniversary. I didn't even have the legend one at the time, so I guess I just never bought them, and therefore we're rolling with this as our camo for the last species in this mission set, the Rusa deer here on Pickabeen Bay. Admittedly though, the camo is a lot less impactful when it is a Rusa deer doe coming in. It would be kind of a different matter if it was a decent buck, but I've noticed that Rusa deer and sandbar deer females especially just almost can't spook at times. Like, I've run up to them not knowing they're there while hunting other species and they still hang around. So no surprise that our camo, or lack thereof, didn't cause any issues there, but that should complete the Lunar Missions, which again should result in 3000 GM, a trophy for our trophy gallery, and the all-important tent. And to go back, it was a while ago, maybe close to a year ago, a change to the game happened where the max allowed tents per map was increased, I think from 8 to 10, and on a lot of my maps I did have 8 tents, but I definitely did not have enough tents to go for 10 on each map, so it's going to be nice to kind of use that for one of our other setups. And at this point, I think the only thing we have remaining to do is go back and take a look at the brown bear skull in our trophy lodge. And I've been saying for a while that I would love a different style for this lodge, just kind of something that would make it look a little more like the rustic style lodge. But I do really like this with the skull mounts now. 28.7678. I don't recall ever getting a brown bear better than that. Maybe back in the days where we hunted a lot of bears over barrels, but even then, I don't remember having one that close to the max. The old max, I think, was 28.890 or 898 or something like that. That is pretty close to the old max. Now they can probably get a little bit bigger, but I do like that. I think I would like to maybe replace a couple of rabbits on these other platforms with skull mounts. It is going to allow us to have all 4 bear species in a way in this lodge. We have the black bear from, I think, our 24-hour stream, or maybe it was a 12-hour stream. In fact, it would have been. And our grizzly bear here. Now we've added the brown bear, and hopefully we can do a polar bear skull, and, I don't know, wolf skull potentially, in place of one of the rabbits. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that we actually got a real trophy while doing the missions. And it was nice to get out here today and kind of see all the different maps. That's the one cool thing about a mission like that. It really does allow you to explore a little bit. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.